Hello. In this demonstration, we will create a project finance model. The model will be for a hypothetical situation, say a new solar power plant that needs to be set up and requires financing. Let's begin. First, we go to the website myfinmodel.com. On the website, scroll down to the Models section and select Advanced Project Finance Model. The model data is entered in 4 steps. First, we provide the basic model parameters. For this example, we will model the cash flows for 20 years on an annual basis. So leave the type of period as year, and select 20 for number of periods. Let's assume that the starting period is March 2017. So let's select 2017 for starting year and 3 for starting month. Let's assume that there is only one product, electric power, that the developer sells. So select 1 for growth-based sales categories. Select 0 for other product sales category. Now let's look at the costs. For the recurring costs, let's assume that there are 3 types of recurring costs: salaries of staff, routine maintenance and rent for the land needed for the solar plant. So select 3 for recurring cost categories. Let's assume that there are no one-off costs and no other direct costs. Select 0 for these fields. Assume that there is one item that is capitalized. Select 1 for CapEx items. Leave the currency as US dollars, and leave Show Results field as units. At this point, click on Update Form. Now let's go to the second step. Click on Revenue Data. In this example, we are modeling a solar power plant. Say that the plan is to start selling the electricity in year 2. In the first year we sell 1 million units of electricity. The sales increase by 5% per year. In the table Product Sales, fill in the relevant data. Type in electricity under Product. Select 2 for sales start period, 20 for sales end period, 1 million for sales in initial period. Select 5% in sales growth rate. Assume that the growth rate does not decrease in the future, so select 0% for the field growth decreases by. Leave the sales limit and maximum sales as they are. For the price per unit, type in 2 indicating a price of $2 per unit of electricity. In the last field you can specify if you want to include inflation in the prices or not. At the end of the price row, select price inflation for this field. Now let's go to the third step. Click on Cost Data. We have to put in data for 3 recurring cost items. Type in salaries in the first row and put in 300,000 for the amount per period. Select cost inflation as the inflation measure, 1 for starting period and 20 for ending period. In the second row, type in maintenance, and put in 100,000 for the amount per period. Select cost inflation as the inflation measure, 1 for starting period and 20 for ending period. In the last row, type in lease rent, and put in 100,000 for the amount per period. Select cost inflation as the inflation measure, 1 for starting period and 20 for ending period. In the section, Capitalized Items, type power plant under item and a cost of 10 million. Put in 1 under the period incurred. That means that the items were purchased in the first period, and put 20 for the time for depreciation. Now the final step. Click on Financing and Other Data. First we need to specify the financing details. For this example, we will assume a 70% debt to equity ratio. We assume that equity will be used first before any debt is used. The debt term will be 10 years with no grace period. Select a debt interest rate of 10% per year. Leave the transaction expense at 0. Finally, the other info. Here we can provide the minimum cash required, short-term debt rate, tax rate, the discount rate, inflation for revenue items and the cost items, periods for accounts receivables and accounts payable. We will use the default values for this example, but you can change them as appropriate. We are now ready to run the model. Click on Run Model. In a few seconds, we see the results. At the top are some summary charts showing the revenues and costs. EBITDA and net income. Cash flows. Free cash flow. And debt service coverage ratio. Click on Financial Statements. You can now see the income statement, the balance sheet, the cash flow statement, free cash flows, the NPV and IRR. Click on Supporting Statements. You can now see the detailed calculations of the revenues, the costs, the taxes, the depreciation, the debt, the working capital, cash position, discount rate factors, and debt service coverage ratio. If you had logged in, then you will see the option for saving the model. You can now run a new model, change parameters for the same model, or download the results in a spreadsheet. Thank you for trying us out.